Hello there, Bick Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War 2, and this is my insane difficulty guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Act 1-5. It is entitled Roadblocks. This chapter has a couple of sections that are memorable. Memorable though in bad ways. But before we get to those, we've got a few fights with tickers. And we basically are just going to be collecting our ammunition over here, picking up any grenades that we can find, and then we'll progress. But I wanted to mention near the end of the chapter, there's a part where you split off into two courses, and I don't consider a walkthrough complete, a Gears of War walkthrough that is, unless all of the branches are covered. So everybody gets to see both of the paths, and you can decide for yourself which path is the one that you want to choose. I will point out the one that I feel is not as hard. And in all cases, there's usually one path that is more difficult than the other. And I did want to definitely say that I'm recording in 4K now. I have found out ways for it not to glitch out so much using the 4K utility of Elgato's software. And so I'm not using Windows DVR for this project. I was using Windows 11 DVR formerly for the ROM Shadow DLC that I covered. But this is full 4K, playing at it, recording at it, and rendering at full 4K. So you can just see for yourself how lovely it is. It's fucking fantastic. Even with the degradation that you see when you upload files to YouTube. So if you look on the quality settings, there's a whole bunch of quality settings for you to choose if you want to do that. This part over here, they give you a nice checkpoint, and what's going to happen is you're going to run up here. There's going to be nemesis in the air that are going to be ambiently attacking the area that you're in. But they usually don't come right up to you and outright kill you. After you've killed a number of enemies, you can explode the gas tanks to kill enemies. After you've killed a number of enemies, though, I say, do you see where the sign up there is where it says battery? After a certain time, that sign's going to give way, and then you'll expose the guy shooting the turret up there. Make sure he's not pointing at you, because if you throw the grenade up there using the arc, you're going to get put down really fast. So you can't shoot the sign down earlier. You have to wait until the script plays out. And this looks like an untenable situation at first, but your teammates over to the left eventually are going to come. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it that way. You have no teammates over to the left at this point, but eventually you will have teammates coming over from the left that will finish this fight for you and give you a hand. And then the next part is the first of the sections that is kind of annoying because of just the inability to see very well. But I have to give it credit. When the tickers are running at you in the dark, we're going to be in a tunnel where they throw tickers at you, and you can definitely see the dust that they kick up where they're at. They are a pretty bright color, that orange color. And you have the lights from Dizzy's assault derrick to help you out seeing. So it really isn't that bad. It's just, and they don't even throw enemies behind you either. It's all coming from the front. There's no tricks. And it really isn't that bad. It's just one of those parts where people might detest it just because of the blackness, the utter blackness. And also the fact that at the end, they put a reaver for you to kill. You have to kill it, and there's no checkpoint anywhere. So it's typical Gears of War where they do that kind of stuff. So they're gonna put you right over here. They're gonna spawn the tickers pretty soon, and then you're gonna be dealing with them. And what the tickers do, if you're unfamiliar with them, but you see all the clouds of dust that they kick up in their wake. You can have a really good sight on them just because of all that. But what tickers do is that they run right up to you, and if you stop suddenly, they'll stop right where you stop, and then if you roll away quickly enough. Did you see that hit that I took there? People might say, "Well, this is not on insane difficulty." I did not take a direct hit from that. That was very fortunate that I did not have a direct hit on that. But this is, I guarantee, insane difficulty. And okay, so what the tickers do? They will come up to you, stop, and explode. If all you do is just run around, they will run around at you until you stop. So the best thing really to do, aside from just shooting them and putting them out quickly, is to just let them come up to you, stop, and then they'll explode. Do you have enough time to roll away? Of course you do. I mean, if you don't do it fast enough, no. But rolling away and then sprinting away a little bit is usually all that it takes to get clear of that blast. And even if you don't get completely clear of it, you're probably not going to die because of not taking a direct hit from it. The Lancer, though, cannot bat the enemies away. So if you use a shotgun or a hammer burst, you might be better served sometimes, because obviously there's no chainsawing with this enemy without you getting killed instantly. But anyway, this is the midway point over here. They're going to throw some more tickers at you, but you would be better served to use the hammer burst, perhaps, if you could get it. I don't know what they do as far as taking your weapons from you at the beginning of the stage. Using the shotgun is not a good idea, because the shotgun is a close range weapon and you get killed by this enemy at close range, so it doesn't make any sense to use that weapon. But the Lancer is very good for not having any recoil. Even in the later games, they put recoil on the Lancer. It was slight, but it was there. But in this game and in the previous game, there's zero recoil for this weapon. I think one of the main drawbacks for me personally is not having that omnidirectional roll that they implemented in the third game forward. Just because it gives you more freedom of movement, more options, more choices. But or what I was saying is you can use your snub too. That will hit the enemy away, overturn it, and then you can shoot it, because it's a very safe method of doing that. Anyway, we're coming now to the end. We're coming now. Oh, here we are. This is the end. When you see the Y prompt, you want to double back. Quickly do the turn where you can turn quickly. And then the reaver. Now he's shooting rockets. So the first reaver that we saw earlier didn't shoot any rockets, but now this one is. So you want to use a third-person cover trick over here. Did you see that one that flew right next to me? That could have easily been a kill on my part. I could have got killed there. And unfortunately, there's no checkpoint there, so it's kind of rude. Okay, now we're branching out. There's two different paths to choose from. The first path is, I think, the harder of the paths, where it says, I think it says hotel. There's hotel and then there's rooftops. I've got to say that this one is harder, and I'm just choosing them from left to right. I'm not picking the harder one first or anything like that. So you go through a series of long fights, and then you fight a brumak at the end. But there's one main difference that makes one hard and one not. It's the fact that on this path, the brumak focuses on you. You have his full attention. And on the other path, you're an auxiliary sort of position where the brumak is not trained on you, so that none of the rockets it shoots are going to be shot at you. So all you have to do is just shoot it. And killing the brumak on a situation where it's got its full attention on you and it's shooting those rockets, and then you have to use a mortar to take it down, because I don't think that you could take it down with just normal gunfire. It's a timed section too, and that makes it worse. So what's going to be happening is that I would get about 2 or 3 mortar rounds on that brumak. Get them as direct as you can, and then probably take shelter, because there's nowhere to take shelter on this part that's coming up. Nowhere safe, you know. So I would maybe even hit it 4 times, because you don't want to push your luck too much, because the rockets are just gonna find you, and it's one of those situations too where it comes down to, if you're not low to the ground, revving up the mortar, you're going to get killed probably. So it's one of those situations where it's very difficult to time it right so that you're at the right spot in the right time, because after you've shot the mortar, he stands up a little bit, and then he sits down, but it takes so long that you're going to get killed because you're vulnerable at that time. So anyway, this is the final area over here. I would shoot these mortars and grenadiers through the windows. Sorry, I don't think they're grenadiers, but I did want to say they're wielding boltocks, and if they hit you directly, you get 0 chance of living. So 1 hit kills on that. An indirect hit, you'll survive, but you'll be put to the brink of death. So be very careful with the guys with the fucking boltocks. They're just they're merciless. So you can control everything out here, and then you'll be getting the mortar for the first time over here. Where should you stand when you shoot the mortar? It doesn't seem like anywhere is safe, and I don't think anywhere is safe. Obviously, you can't shoot it from in here, or you'll end up killing yourself. But I tried all over different places. There's no safe spot, so you're really going to have to depend on timing your shots so that you're not vulnerable when it's firing rockets, and also moving back into the house after you've put enough damage on it. And then if you think you can finish it off with gunfire, with the regular bullet fire, I would run back into the house and do it that way. Okay, so your shots at this point need to be 150 meters away, and as it comes closer, you'll want to subtract some meters from it. So the first couple 150, and then in the 120s. But these rockets are unforgiving. They're really, really bad. The splash is just out of control, and there's no checkpoint here too, and it's very sad. Why didn't I take that shot? I guess I was scared. But 4 or 5 direct hits with the mortar, it should go down. He's right next to me at this point, but I finally was able to do that without getting killed. If you don't want any part of that, select this path. This is a much easier path. Before I forget to, make sure that you don't use hardly any grenades on this chapter, because there's going to be some grub holes that need to be sealed in the next part, and I don't think they give you any. And you're on the assault derrick, and it really helps to have those grenades. So try, if you can, to bring 4 grenades into the final act of this, or excuse me, the final chapter of this act. Also, you'll definitely want to switch out the shotgun for the hammer burst, because the shotgun's not going to serve any purpose on the next chapter, and the hammer burst is much better. Okay, so switch to your Lancer, and then when you get up here, there's going to be a mortar at a random spot. You just want to run up to him and chainsaw him. And then when you use the mortar over here to blow a hole in the house, you'll want to shoot it at least 120 or more so that you make it over there. There we go. And then there's just one more fight before the brumak. So come on down here. When Jack opens the door, it takes a long time. So I've edited some clips together so this doesn't go so slow. Okay, so just open this door, push forward. I think there might be something over to the left. You might want to check that out. And then this is the site of the final area. We were across the way when we dealt with the brumak before. You see the house in the distance right over there? We were over there. Now this is our position, and the brumak will not regard you, which is the thing you definitely want, because he's not going to fire any rockets at you. There's no threat of death. The only threat is failing the time requirement. So you can't miss many hits with the mortar. So you'll need to know, of course, how far you need to charge the gun. And again, if he's very far away, as he is at the beginning, you'll want to shoot it up to 150, just a full blast of 150. And then as he gets closer, it'll be better to take that number down to like 120, 110, 100, because he's going to be pretty close. So you want to be patient as it comes out. And then in just a few moments, we'll be able to start shooting it. There you go. Once you get the message, it's not far long before you start shooting this. So I shoot it a little bit early just to get an extra damage on it. And at this point, you want to put it into the 120s because he's walking pretty close to where we're at. So we're getting some really good direct hits on him. He's already on fire. And let's see how much I charge this up to. Probably just 100. 100's really good. And see how he's firing only at the other people? Well, we were the other people a moment ago, and that's why it was so difficult. I will see you in 1-6. Please take care.